Holly, congratulations on your victory this evening. A big one. I mean, finally, getting the big win at 145 and also kind of show some new wrinkles in your game. I just kind of wonder, how personally satisfying is this victory for you?
Oh, there's a lot of things that are satisfying with the victory, but there's also things I want to do better and do more. It doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss. I always think, man, I could have done this too, or maybe I should have tried this. I want to learn from every experience, whether it's a win or a loss. I want to just be learning from wins from now till forever, because I hate to lose. So it feels good to be here, and just, it's a lot of stuff we've been working on in practice for a long time. It's just it finally kind of, was something that I was able to use in a fight.
You talked about your preparation coming in, that you didn't really study her so much. You studied yourself and trying to correct your flaws. Did that play out tonight? I mean, did those things that you wanted to correct, did that play into your victory?
A couple of things. A couple of things kind of went with it, but because it was such a different game as well, there wasn't really anything that, obviously the takedowns and the ground stuff isn't anything that I've really had in other fights, so that didn't really pertain to a lot of it. But, a little bit of it was. There's a little bit of improvements I made that I'm happy for in the fight, and then there's stuff that I still thought, I always want perfection.
She landed a couple big shots early on, and I wanted to ask you, I mean, you've been in there with some of the hardest hitters in the game, but there was so much made of her power and her size. You're the first one in the UFC to experience it, so I wonder, was it different? I mean, was it stronger? Was it more than you expected?
She hit pretty hard. It's not been the hardest I've ever been hit, but she was very strong, very powerful. She's a big person. She towers over me, she's a big fighter. And all week, I like to see her, look at her, and just, I like to see my opponent. I don't want to get in there the night I'm going to fight them and then look across, because they always look bigger than life anyway when you're about to fight them. So, she's a big girl, but that didn't mean that she wasn't beatable. And I just really wanted to make sure that I was staying level-headed and just, I just believe in my training. I know I put a lot of hard work into it, and I knew I would react in the way that I should if I just really believed in my training.
And lastly for me, Amanda Nunes took to social media and said, let's do this. Cyborg actually chimed in and said, hey, yeah, that's a fight I'd love to see happen. So, I mean, you've got a lot of options on the table, but, I mean, does a championship fight at 135 sound about right?
I think anything you lose, you want back, right? That's something that's dear to you. I think that's probably closest to my heart, but I want it all. I don't think that you even get in this game if you don't want it all. I want it all. I want victories, I want belts, I want all of it. And it's just one step at a time, one fight at a time. And really the only thing on my plate right now was tonight. And I'm going to enjoy that. I've got a lot of friends and family here that I can enjoy this with in Chicago. Chicago's, a place that I've been to a lot. My wrestling coach is from here, so I feel like this is like a home away from home. So I'm really just going to kind of take it in, and sometimes I think I don't give myself enough time to just enjoy my life for a little bit.
You just mentioned your wrestling coach. Is it safe to say you might be keeping Israel around now with how well your wrestling looked tonight? And has that been your secret weapon this camp?
I've been working with Izzy for actually quite some time, and he's been really helpful in a lot of things, even though maybe my fight hasn't gone to where I'm taking them down. But there's a lot of things that this is. So starting with Mike Winklejohn when I was 16, a lot of people search for a good stand-up coach, and I've been with him the whole time. I've never changed camps. And when I started to get into MMA, Greg Jackson was such a big part of that. And he even actually coached me as my coach in a lot of my boxing matches, because he's part of our team, and then Izzy started coming down to the gym and started working just on my strict wrestling with him. So I've actually worked with him for a while. So, and then, actually in 2015, I started working with Tusa and Barata with ground game, and those are my main, kind of team. And so I'm surrounded by great coaches, the best in the world, and I really don't have any intention of changing. I'm usually loyal to my coaches. I don't just let anybody in, because I definitely want them to be good coaches. And so I'm very blessed and very proud of my coaches and very thankful for everything they've helped me with.
Thank you.
Holly, congratulations on your win. You said you want to celebrate the victory, and here I am asking the question anyways. But I mean, how do you feel you match up with Amanda Nunes if that is your next fight?
With,
Amanda Nunes.
you know, every fighter can be beat, and that's how I feel. She's very tough, and she's proven that. You know, she's ran through some girls. She was very dominant in her last performance with a very game. You know, Raquel's a very game fighter. She's usually a little scrapper. So yeah, it's definitely a tough fight. But what am I here for? You know, I don't want to take the easy route, and then at the end of my career, think I wish I would have pushed myself a little more. So we'll see what happens in the future. We'll go from here.
You've obviously accomplished a lot in your career, but in some ways you're always going to be attached to your first title win in the UFC against Ronda Rousey. I'm sure you heard tonight she's going into the Hall of Fame. I just wanted to get your opinion on Ronda going into the Hall of Fame this year.
I think that's great. She did a lot for the sport. She's done a lot for the UFC. She's done a lot for, you know, bringing the women into kind of the women have been around with mixed martial arts for a long time, but she kind of helped open some of those doors for a lot of us. With that being said, one person can't do it. In order to have a fight, you have to have two people. So she did a lot, and you know, kind of being an inspiration for a lot of other girls coming in. You have to have two to make a fight, and so a lot of these girls kind of chasing that dream with her, and she stood her ground for a long time, was a very dominant champion, and so I'm happy for her.
Hi, Holly, right here. Following your post-fight interview, we reached out to Chris, and she said she saw a lot of skills that you didn't showcase when you fought her. She didn't really elaborate. I'm just wondering what you think she meant by the skills that you didn't show.
I feel like I would have maybe a little idea of things that I did different because I know what I did different, but I think I would be even a different fighter the next time I got in there because I'm constantly wanting to get better, and you know, I'm trying to work on everything in my game. So.
Holly, it was a great crowd tonight, and in the post-fight talk with Joe, the crowd got real loud, really started cheering you on. You got a little bit emotional there. Was there a certain reason why? Was it just great to have the crowd behind you in a moment like that?
I don't know. You know, I really feel the energy from the crowd all the time, and I can't say enough how great my fans are, and I just hope it keeps growing. You know, I hope that whoever has been supportive and whoever is cheering me on and supporting me, I hope they all know how much I appreciate it, because I would literally not be able to have my job that I feel is a dream without it. So I hope they just feel that energy, and maybe they feel it. Maybe they, you know, I want them. It's exciting. It's something together. Whatever we do in there, if we get a victory, everybody else feels victory. That's your fan. If you get a loss, they kind of feel that heartache too. You know, so. I love being able to have a victory, and with all of my fans, whether they be here or overseas or at home, to give them that, you know, sense of excitement with me.
Last thing I wanted to ask is, after spending 15 minutes in the cage with Megan, obviously she was very hyped up going into this fight. Did you take anything away that you maybe didn't expect that she would bring, and just what are your thoughts on her moving forward?
You know, a lot of what she did, we knew she'd be tall, we knew she'd be strong, we knew she would be long. She's the tallest fighter I've ever fought. I fought one girl that was 6 foot tall in boxing, but it's different. You don't have someone's clinch game, you don't have someone that can lay on you, you don't have it, so it's a different game in boxing. So yes, it was a long reach, but it's still different. You don't have, you know, kicks coming at you from her long legs, you don't have knees coming at you, so it's still a different game. I've never faced someone like her, and I knew that she was going to be tough. You know, I was telling my team, I said she's coming in confident. I can feel it. She's confident and she's sound-minded, you know, and I think that that's the toughest opponent to face, is somebody that's a very confident fighter, somebody that believes in themselves, and she's here for a reason, and she was a very game opponent, and I'm very thankful to have shared the octagon with her.
A lot was made throughout fight week about Megan's size, and you were really able to control the fight, you know, physically. Did you feel you were stronger in the cage than her?
You know, I have a lot of teammates that really help me out, and majority of the time I'm sparring with the guys, and there's a lot of guys that I train with that are 6 feet tall, which, of course, for this fight, we picked more of them for my training, and that is what I love about my team. We don't only have the best coaches in the world, but we've got such a great team that we can hey, can you help me with sparring today? And they're so great. Every time that you even ask them to work, oh sure, whatever you need, they're happy to help and happy to be there. So I had a whole training camp of being able to, fight with and spar with some, long reaches that, and trying to kind of mimic my opponent. And so, if I didn't have that, it'd be a little bit harder to deal with it because she's got a long reach. She's a big girl.
Hey, Holly, congrats. Just had one question for you. We've been asking the fighters, the winners tonight, what do they prefer, the early weigh-ins or the afternoon weigh-ins, since it's somewhat of a hot topic this week, and I just wanted to get your vote.
Oh, weigh-ins.
Yes.
I thought you said wins. I was like, oh, I like them anytime.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a fan of early weigh-ins because I've always kind of cut most of my weight at night. But if there's this big debate of changing it, I don't know. Maybe for me, I feel like I like early weigh-ins. But if they're gonna change it, why do we gotta go all the way to the afternoon either? I mean, can we make it like an 11 or 12, or because it gives a little more time? Because it's 9 to 11. Usually there's 2 hours in there. Well, if they start them at 11, if people want to weigh in early and they're on weight, let them weigh in early. They've done their work. They've already cut their weight, maybe 11 to 1, or but I don't really think that it makes that much sense to do this so late in the day because that's less time for recovery. And what we're really trying to do is be ready for the fight. So I think we should cater more to the fight than the actual weigh-in time, I guess. That makes more sense to me. But, I don't know why it has to be either 9 a.m. or like 5 p.m. We could probably, if they really want to change it, I don't know. I like it in the morning, but if we're going to change it, I don't know why it has to be afternoon. It's probably maybe something different in the middle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The prize itself.
Hey, truck, truck. Truck, 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 truck. Hey, truck. You got it again? Okay, good deal. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2.
really don't want me to have You really don't want me to have this money.
I'm like, John asked like 3 questions, so like Dana asked like 3
Someone's like, what is happening on this court? That's what I didn't see it. But hey. What was this score? I'm looking at 30-23. They're like top one. Just like 30-24, 29-22.
So he had a 10-7 run?
I respect his heart that showed out there.
I respect the hell out of Ryan because I never do it. I love the sport. Nope. But yeah, no, it's not. It's just not there. I love football. Played football my whole life. Tried to play football in college. I worked out too much. Put me on the NFL field right now. You get trained to step onto an NFL field for one play. Just to do it. But I know I get murdered. Like murdered.
One play, that quick.
One play.
Shortest NFL
Yeah.
career.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, I get it. I get it.
Like, it'd be cool, you know what I mean? Like, imagine you stepping out there in that Dallas Cowboys uniform.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
At least for the last one. Since we got it.
Well, the question is it Dana coming up or is it Cole?
That's why we do this.
John got stealing, that's all I'm saying. John still looking at what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's like,
I was like, yeah, that was for sure. Yeah, that's my game day uniform. Now you think about the fact that we're playing cards, it's always still such a great night. Like normally you get like 5 decisions on the cards, like it's so fun.
John's my gold standard in dress at the UFC because I used to always wear shirts and ties to all the UFC events since like 2003. I wore shorts and ties, and then John started coming with shorts on.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't need to wear a tie anymore. Like that event, UFC 200, we were all backstage with Adrian Thomas and Garrett Davis. Like Garrett is dressed like to the nines in the city. I'm just like, you're in the back. Who are you dressing to impress right now?
What's up, gang? You know you had a good night of fights when there's only like 2 of us to come to the press conference, right? So the gate was 2.55 million. The attendance was 18,117. It was a complete sellout. We actually started selling standing room only tickets. It's the highest attended non-basketball event in the arena's history. Fight of the night, Whitaker Romero. The performance of the nights go to Oliveira and Blades. They all win $50,000, but in the fight of the night, Whitaker wins 100. So congratulations to Whitaker.
Let's talk about Robert Whitaker. I mean, he's a guy that's not necessarily the most popular champion on the roster right now. I know he's pretty new there, but can you just tell me kind of what you think about him? I mean, facing a guy Whitaker, yeah, facing a guy like Romero twice.
Popular in Australia.
Yeah, but I mean, can you just tell me what you think about him? I mean, here he is. He fights Romero for 10 rounds. The guy misses weight. It sounds like he took the fight with no issue. I mean, what's your opinion on Whitaker and kind of where his star value is?
Yeah, well, you keep fighting like you fought tonight, it's going to go up quick. The problem is Whitaker's had some issues. He had injuries. He had staph infection. Had to pull out of the big fight in Australia. He's obviously had some bad luck, but broke his hand in the 3rd round tonight. But he looked great. He's tough. He's durable. Tonight's fight was incredible. Yeah.
Romero obviously looked amazing as well in ways. He's a dangerous guy. But normally when a guy's 0-2 against a champ, probably not getting a 3rd fight anytime soon. And of course, he missed weight. So I wonder, I mean, will you actively encourage Joel to maybe move up to 205 and see what he can do there?
Probably a good idea. We're going to have to talk to him and his team. And, yeah, it's probably a good idea to go to 205.
Cool. Let me ask you about Colby Covington as well, your newest champion. Man, you talk about guys that move the needle. He definitely does it, though not always in the most, positive ways. I wonder now that, he's a champion, what will you do with him? I mean, will you encourage him to maybe settle things down a little bit? Are you okay with the way he promotes and markets himself?
I don't encourage guys to do anything. You are who you are, and it is what it is. Unless you're throwing dollies through bus windows, I don't encourage, people not to do stuff. He is, let him do his thing. Yeah.
He said he wants to take that belt to the White House. Will you put in a call to your buddy Trump and try to make that happen?
He wants to take, yeah, I can make that happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. And last thing for me, I mean, obviously you don't matchmake, but we know what the next fight is for him. It'll be Tyron Woodley. Tyron's already on Twitter saying, let's do this. Just curious, I mean, do you have any initial thoughts when that unification fight might take place?
No, but I have initial thoughts that it's good to hear he wants to fight. So good, yeah. We'll make a fight.
Dana.
Hey, buddy.
What did you think of Colby's performance tonight? He was an underdog when the week started, then he became the favorite by the end of the night. I mean, obviously he's a very polarizing character, but he ended up having a really strong performance tonight.
Yeah, he looked great tonight. He did a lot better than I expected him to do. I thought that he was very one-dimensional, with his wrestling. He looked good in the Maya fight against another guy who's, pretty much the same as him in a different way. And I always think of RDA as a very well-rounded, tough guy, and I thought he was going to give Colby Covington a lot of trouble. But Colby looked good tonight.
You've been very outspoken in your support of President Trump and probably taken some flack publicly for that. What do you think of Colby, speaking out so loudly about his support of President Trump and obviously kind of taking shots at the Golden State Warriors and some of the other teams for not visiting President Trump? Like, do you laugh at that? Do you think it's good that he's speaking out about that?
What did you say in the beginning of that? That I've supported Trump and I probably got some slack?
You probably got some flack.
I've never got slack about supporting Trump, ever. Nobody's ever given me any slack, ever. But no, I mean the guy. Listen, I don't care what your politics are. You can like whoever you want to like. If he likes Trump, then he likes Trump. If somebody doesn't like Trump, then they don't like Trump. I have a lot of friends that don't like Trump, but I don't ever talk to them about that. Snoop hates Trump badly, and Snoop and I never talk about that ever.
I know you don't. You always say you don't matchmake on the night of the fight, but what did you think of Holly Holm's performance? And would you like to see her stay at featherweight, or would you like to see her go back to 135?
She said she wants both. I love that answer. So she said she wants it all, and I like it. we'll see what we can do.
And last question, obviously CM Punk, suffered a tough loss tonight. I have to imagine that's it for him, but I mean, did you talk to him after the fight? And is that it for him as far as how many chances you're going to give him in the UFC?
Did he do any media after the fight? Huh?
He was transported.
Oh, he was? And everybody got transported tonight. Yeah. No, it should be a wrap, The guy's 39 years old. I love the guy. He's the nicest guy in the world. We gave him 2 shots, and he had a lot of heart tonight in this fight. And, I think you should call it a wrap.
Hi, Phil Thompson, Chicago Tribune.
Hi.
So following up on Punk, I guess you kind of answered the question. I wonder if you had a medical update on him.
I don't. I didn't know he was transported until she just said that.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you? You know how he is? No, we don't know yet.
Okay.
Hopefully he's okay. A lot of people got transported tonight.
No, absolutely. What do you think about the heart that he showed in the fight today?
No, he did, man. Listen, he got clipped a lot in that fight, and it looked like he was hurt bad a couple of times. He stayed in there. He went for 3 rounds. Michael Jackson, I'm not happy with. This guy was acting like a goofball tonight. You get this opportunity to come in and fight CM Punk, and you're doing like bolo punches to the body on top. Never looked like he was trying to finish the fight ever, right? Looked like he could have finished the fight a few times. Never tried. I don't know what that guy did for a living before we gave him the shot, but whatever it was, he needs to go back and do that again. He's 0-2 as far as I'm concerned.
Well, to that point, it seemed like he was trying to milk it to stay on TV longer. Did you get that sense?
I got the sense that he's a complete fucking idiot, and I couldn't wait for that fight to end, and I regretted not putting it on Fight Pass.
Okay.
That's how I felt about it.
Okay. With Blades, to the man's earlier point, I know you don't match make, but what are your thoughts about Blades' future?
He looked unbelievable, and obviously beating Alistair Overeem is a big deal. So, very impressive. And the way he beat Alistair Overeem is a big deal. So, stud. I didn't realize how big that guy was until him and Alistair squared off the other day. The guy's a monster.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dan, right here in the front. Right here.
Hey.
I know you've been asked this a lot this week, but we talked to a lot of the winners backstage, and almost all of them said they preferred the early morning weigh-ins.
Yeah.
And even during media day, a lot of the ones that didn't come out on top tonight said they preferred the earlier weigh-ins.
Yeah.
But you were pretty adamant that you spoke to a lot of fighters, and they wanted the afternoon weigh-ins.
Yeah, we talked to more fighters, and they want 4 o'clock weigh-ins.
So it's just a coincidence that all these fighters tonight only want early
No,
morning?
it's not a coincidence. I'm sure there's 550 fighters under contract, so there's a lot of asking to do before you get a number where you think that, the ratio is off.
Sure.
Tonight, I don't know if tonight was 5 and 5, 8 and 3 or whatever the number was, but yeah. Believe me, we've studied it. The numbers don't lie. We've talked to fighters. A ton of fighters want to go back to 4 o'clock, and there's a lot of fighters that don't. Eddie Alvarez, made a strong case to me on about basically, people who don't make weight are never going to make weight no matter what time you do the weigh-ins and stuff like that. But the numbers don't lie. The percentages are way off. And I don't know about you guys, but I know a lot of fighters, and most of them are not morning people. They sleep all day, and they're usually up late at night. And this whole morning thing, they gotta cut weight that night. God knows how late they gotta stay up cutting weight, and then they go to bed and they can't sleep much. It just isn't working. So no matter what, there's no debate about this. There's no debate. We're going to 4 o'clock.
And my last question is, you did talk about Mike Jackson. Is that it for his UFC career? Or
Yeah, that's it for his UFC career. Yeah, I wouldn't put that kid in the Contender Series.
Blades was saying he's next in line for the belt now. He thinks it's his time. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. Yeah, obviously you just beat Alistair Overeem very impressively, so we'll see what happens.
Can you compare him to maybe another heavyweight that really rose up the rankings that fast? I mean, beating Hunt, dominating Overeem tonight. Have you seen a heavyweight kind of start out like this or get to this place quickly?
No, probably not Francis, other than like Francis.
Nice.
That I can remember.
Hello, Dana. What is your takeaway on Arlovsky and Tuivasa fight, and how did you score it yourself?
Andre Arlovsky looked good tonight. I mean, the kid he fought is a real tough, durable, hard-hitting guy, and much younger, obviously. And he looked good tonight. He took some big shots to the chin and kept coming forward.
And my other one, Ronda Rousey was announced today going into the Hall of Fame. Could you just comment on her
Who?
induction? Ronda Rousey?
Ronda Rousey? Oh, about her being inducted?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I love her. I'm happy for her. She's incredible, and it's well deserved.
Thank you.
Dana, right here up front. Just going back to the weigh-in thing for just a second. Holly Holm, when she was up here just a little bit ago, mentioned that she doesn't know why it has to be 9 a.m. or 4 p.m. Mentioned maybe doing something in the middle, like around noon. Is that an option?
Holly offered about doing the weigh-ins at noon time instead of 9 or 4, something in between.
Are we still talking about weigh-ins?
Yeah.
They're at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. And going back, I want to know about Rashad Evans. Obviously, he had a devastating knockout loss. It has a great history in the company. Just what were your thoughts on his career and where he stands?
Yeah. When he lost, I had him come back to my room, and we hung out and talked, and it's sad. The guys. Rashad was on season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. So he was around through the whole, building of this company, we all get old, man, and this is a young man's sport, but he if you look at what he won The Ultimate Fighter, he became a world champion. He was with this team where he was like the guy and built all these young up and coming fighters. He's been in big, huge fights. He's been on the ride with us the whole way, and he got to close it out in his hometown of Chicago. So not a bad run,
Last one for me. Chris Weidman and Kelvin Gastelum were both in attendance tonight. What's next for them? Obviously, these two just had a big-time war tonight. What's next for those two guys?
Yeah, Weidman's still hurt. His hand is messed up, so he's going to be out for a while longer. And then who else did you ask me about?
Kelvin Gastelum.
Oh yeah, Kelvin. No comment on Kelvin Gastelum. He should have been the backup here tonight when this all went down, but
was that offered to him?
No, he couldn't do it. He's got some personal issues that he seriously needs to take care of.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dana, over here. Do you mind just expanding on that? Was that the plan from the beginning of this fight being announced?
Who?
With Kelvin?
Yeah. We wanted Kelvin to be the guy for a backup here. I'm not going to expand on it because it's personal.
Okay.
But it's some shit that he needs to get together and handle quick.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame, I've been meaning to ask you about this, just about the passing of Bruce Connell and what he meant for the company.
Yeah. It was so crazy when we heard that Bruce had passed away, and so young, was getting ready to take off to go to Australia, and this guy was here before me and the Fertittas. I mean, he was here before we were here, and he was a great producer. He was very well respected by everybody and loved by everybody here. So another Hall of Fame that's well deserved.
And just 2 other ones. Could you explain what happened with Yair in the end?
What happened with what?
Yair Rodriguez.
Yair? So, I mean, everybody knows what happened, why he was gone. So then, what is that? So I was, I'm deaf as it is, and now they got this going on. So, I don't remember where the hell I was. Where was I when this all? I had to go somewhere. I went out of town, and Sean called me and said, Yair had some had some real personal problems. I talked to him and everything else. Do you mind if I sit down and talk to him about this stuff? And I said, no. I like Yair Rodriguez very much. So Sean met with him and talked to him, and then came back to me. And Yair and his team flew out and met with me. And he's back.
Pretty simple. And just one last one. Contender Series starts on Tuesday.
Has what?
Your Contender Series show starts on Tuesday.
I can't wait, man. I seriously can't wait. I could do that every Tuesday for the rest of my life. I love it.
And I'm just wondering about Greg Hardy, because
Yeah.
obviously he comes from the world of football and somewhat of a polarizing figure in the world of football, and he has, a checkered past, if you want to put it that way. What was the decision-making process to let him on the show?
Well, first of all, he went through everything, the whole legal process that he needed to go to. Went back to football, played for the Panthers, then got cut, then moved over to Dallas and played there for a while, then was cut from there. I guess he had a real bad drug and alcohol problem. Started getting into MMA, cleaned himself up. If you talk to anybody that he trains with, male or female, they say that, he's a very good guy. He's very humble. And, everybody deserves a second chance. And the guy was never charged with anything. He was never, sentenced or anything like that. So we're going to give him a shot.
Can I ask one more about Contender? I hadn't heard you speak about Nick Newell and the decision to finally give him a shot. Why did you decide ultimately to do that?
Well, Nick Newell came out and met with me too, and we met face to face, and he told me how long he's been in the sport, who he trains with, what he's done, and he's like, and if you don't believe in me and you don't think I'm good enough, then at least let me try the Contender Series.
Yeah.
So I said, fair enough. And it's not, the thing is with Nick Newell, it's like, how many of you honestly think that Nick Newell could fight in the UFC? Most of you? Do most of you think? Right. So most people think the guy's talented and he's beat some real guys, he trains with real guys. The big thing is, if anything ever happened to Nick Newell, okay? If Nick Newell fights in the UFC, the first thing they're going to say is, how could you let a guy with one arm fight in the UFC? You're an idiot. Me. Not you guys, me. I'll be the idiot. Yeah. But I'm saying, what if something bad happened? The big question would be, why aren't you guys supposed to be the best? All the best fighters in the world are in the UFC. So you're going to throw a guy with one arm fighting guys with two arms? You know what I'm saying. You guys know how to be negative. You know what I mean? You know the negative stuff will happen when if something bad happened. Might even be some of you that read it.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to get your thoughts, please, on what might be next for Robert Whittaker and who might be in line to fight him next. Robert
Whittaker broke his hand in the third round. For a fact, his hand is broken. I just saw him back there, and his hand is swollen up like this. It's huge. His hand's definitely broken. And this kid can't catch a break, injured with his knee, staph infection. Now he broke his hand, and he's so talented, and he's so tough, and he's so good, and he's our first champion from Australia, which is incredible. He's just had a real run of bad luck. We're going to have to wait and see how long it's going to take him to get healthy before we talk about what's next.
Would that, a couple more, would that in any way influence whether or not you have another promotion in Australia later this year?
No. We love Australia. We'll be back to Australia with or without. If you look at the event that we did for the first time up there, Whittaker ended up falling out, and we made another main event with Rockhold and Yoel, and look how amazing the event did. The event was a huge success, and every time we go to Australia, the fans are incredible. The fights are always good for some reason, and it's just, that place is just an absolute home run for us.
You got any thoughts about which city or where, when it might be?
I don't hear off the top of my head, but I know I think we're going back this year, right?
Yes.
Yes. We'll be back this year. I don't know where yet, though.
And last one for me on the Australians. Could you give me your thoughts on the performances of Tai Tuivasa and Megan Anderson tonight, please?
Yeah, no, Ty looked great. He was in a war tonight. He was in a really tough fight, against a crafty veteran that did not want to get beat tonight. And those are the type of guys you have to fight when you're a young up-and-coming guy like him to get better and to get that experience under your belt. Who did you guys have winning that fight? I love how you guys ask me, but when I ask you, you don't give me the answers. I love it. I had Ty winning that fight. But yeah.
Minolovsky's ranked 9 now. Would he take his ranking, or is it not as simple as that?
Man, these rankings are very confusing. Who knows how this thing will end up? There's guys creeping up the rankings that haven't even fought. So who knows? We'll see how this. We'll see on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right here, Dana.
Hey, buddy.
The crowd here tonight was intense from the get-go. I mean, it was almost full by 5:30.
I know. Is that incredible?
A lot of hype surrounding the card, excluding the Chicago fighters in and of themselves. Your thoughts overall on Chicago, and can this city continue to, or would you like to see Chicago in these type of super card events?
Yeah, no, I love this town. This is a real sports town. I love the food in this town. The fans are incredible. Everything about Chicago is awesome, man. Yeah, tonight, I mean, I told you when I said it, it's the highest attended non-basketball event in the arena's history. So yeah, we love Chicago, and we'll be back to Chicago.
You had a special guest sitting next to you for most of the fight.
Oh man, I'm such a huge fan of his.
What was Theo's overall view on the UFC and the way the crowd was reacting to some of these fights?
For those that you don't know, Theo Epstein. So Theo Epstein is like a baseball god. This guy was over at the Red Sox, turned them into a winning team, then basically came to Chicago. They stole him from us. Chicago stole him from us, and he basically came out here with a blueprint and said, "This is exactly how I'm going to do this, and we'll win the World Series in 2016 or whatever the number was." And he did it. He did it, man. In a city that hadn't won in 102 years or whatever the number is, and the guy's a genius. He's a stud. And I went to the Cubs on Friday and toured the facility and hung out with the manager and the players and all this stuff. What a cool organization. What a great group of people. And then today, Theo Epstein hit us up and asked for tickets and wanted to come. So yeah, it was awesome. I'm a huge fan of that guy. So it was fun.
And last one for me, the way the heavyweights performed tonight was outstanding. Your overall view on the heavyweight division, and given some of the performances tonight, it could make for some interesting matchmaking.
No, you're right. And you a lot of times the heavyweight division can be the stinker division. You know what I mean? They were on fire tonight. Every one of the heavyweight fights was awesome. And yes, I agree with you. It's getting interesting now. There's a lot of new young guys coming up in the heavyweight division, and that's fun.
Hey, Dana, just one brief follow-up from me. You said when you met with Rashad, you talked about that, and then you said, hey, he got to wrap it up here in Chicago. Did he indicate to you that this is it for him?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Again, I don't want to stomp on his, if he was going to retire or whatever, I don't want to steal the thunder from him. But yeah, I think that, and obviously after a fight like that, he's super emotional too. So, yeah, I hope he does.
Hey, Dana, did you have any issues with the commission yesterday and how they handled Romero's weigh-in?
What did he say, Matt?
Did you have any issues how they handled the weigh-in yesterday, the commission?
Yeah, yeah, that happened. So apparently that happened. I wasn't here, but apparently they gave him 2 hours to cut weight, and his guy who helps him cut weight said, let's take 40 minutes here. They sat down, they chilled out for 40 minutes, and then they said, we'll get you back in the bathtub. And like right when they just started to cut the weight again, the commission came bustling in the room and said, you got to go. And got to weigh in now. So obviously we're looking into that, and we're trying to figure out what happened. And yeah, that is true.
Mr. Dana, it seems like you're going to have a UFC fight in Moscow in September, right?
Yes, sir.
What's your expectation or thoughts about that?
Well, we put the thing on sale, and ticket sales are awesome so far. So far, so good. Obviously, this is our first time going in there, so we're going to get in there, check it out, and see how the event goes, and then figure out what our long-term strategy for Russia is.
Do you know who will be the headliner of the show?
Yeah. We have it. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. These guys probably all know.
It's any chances to see McGregor and Nurmagomedov in Moscow in this show?
Will that one be in Moscow? No, that will not be in Moscow.
And my last question is, what's next for Khabib?
Conor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dana, tonight the card was under the new rules, and in the Whitaker-Romero fight, if round 5 wasn't a 10-8, what exactly constitutes a 10-8 round?
Say that again. If what?
If round 5 wasn't a 10-8 round, then what exactly constitutes a 10-8 round?
I don't. I didn't score it a 10-8 round.
You
Did anybody in here score it a 10-8 round? Did anybody give it a 10-8? Yeah. You? No. So a couple did, and would you have it? 10-9. Yeah.
And then to follow up on Nick Newell, have you ever had such a big risk-reward kind of fighter? If he wins, it's great publicity. If he loses, you're going to get killed, basically.
What do you mean? Which fight?
With Nick Newell, like if he gets knocked out, people are going to point out, he doesn't have a hand to defend himself, basically.
Oh, yeah, there we go. We got a guy already. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for making my point. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, listen, they were very smart in flying out and meeting with me face to face. This kid's been working his whole life training, and he's telling me that he can. This kid fought Justin Gaethje and went 2 rounds with Justin Gaethje when Justin Gaethje was on fire. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to do it. You'll probably be the first guy writing the negative story if anything goes wrong.
But does the reward outweigh the risk? I mean, if he wins, it's such a great story, overcoming the disability.
To be honest with you, I'm not doing this for me or for the organization or anything. I'm doing it for this kid. This kid came in and begged. This is his dream. This is what he lives for. This is what this guy has worked his whole life to do. He wants it so bad. And I'm sitting there going, this is crazy, man, but I'm going to do it. This is crazy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you your chance.
Dana, the only fight that we really haven't talked about is Claudia Gadelha and Carlos Esparza. Great fight.
Great
a little
fight.
bit controversial. What were your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, Carlos Esparza came out and shocked a lot of people tonight because Claudia Gadelha is a beast, and she looked great tonight. She looked awesome. We good? All right. Thank you, guys.
Colby, congratulations on your victory this evening. Obviously, it was a very emotional week. People chanting at you, yelling at you, cussing at you, all that, and you kind of proved all the doubters wrong. Give me an idea just what the emotions like, the feelings like to have that gold belt that you said you'd have.
I did everything I said I was going to do. I told everybody I was going to make the welterweight division great again, and now I'm going to celebrate how a real American should celebrate winning a world title, and that's going to the White House to see Mr. Donald Trump put this on his desk, unlike the Philadelphia Eagles disrespecting our country's flag by kneeling for the national anthem.
What's more personally satisfying for you? I mean, every fighter is working towards a UFC title, and now you have one. I mean, is it that personal accomplishment and satisfaction, or is it, all the haters and all the doubters and everybody that said you wouldn't do it, being able to kind of shut them up, basically?
Yeah, I said everything I was going to do. I don't think there's very many media in here that picked me to win this fight. Definitely all the nerds on Instagram and Twitter didn't pick me to win this fight, so it's good to shut them all up, The nerd tears, it's a great feeling.
Your game plan obviously was relentless aggression, wrestling. You stuck to it for the full 25 minutes. I want to ask, how the fight played out versus your expectations. He did have a couple of great moments. He even took you down a couple of times. How did it play out versus what you thought?
He did a lot better than I thought he would do. I thought I was going to melt him within 2 rounds, but he's got good cardio, a lot better than Tyron Woodley. So, it was a good fight. We put on a good show for the fans.
And last thing for me, Colby, Tyron took to social media right away and said, listen, let's do this. Let's get it done. Give me an idea. I mean, what's your condition right now, your health? I mean, how fast could you turn around after a 5-round battle like that and have this unification fight?
I'm looking at, is the Madison Square Garden card in November?
Should be.
Yeah, so I'm looking around that time frame, I put in a lot for this camp, so I want to keep getting better. I'm getting better every time you see me. I'm putting a lot of work in Muay Thai, so, the guy's a fake, man. He's out there spitting bars. You should go listen to that, man. If you guys think you hate me now, go listen to him try to do his rap album right now. That's a joke. So, besides that, he's doing his little gossip stuff in Hollywood. He's doing these little B-list movie roles that go straight to DVD. He's doing anything but fight, and that's why I'm here. I'm making this welterweight division great again.
Hi, Colby. I'm wondering if you've been able to talk to Dana. When he was here, he said he could get you into the White House.
I haven't got to talk to Dana. I talked to Dan Lambert. He has that connection to get me in there too. So, I think we're going to talk after this conference and definitely get me into the White House and put this on Trump's desk.
And explain what's going on with this water bottle. Does that say nerd tears on side?
Yeah, this does say nerd tears. All the people out there that doubted me, all the nerds and virgins, which is mostly my haters, this is for them, They're all crying on social media right now. They're all complaining. They're probably saying, oh, RDA is a washed-up lightweight. No one gives me credit. I guess all I do is talk. I can't fight and prove it.
Colby, congratulations, of course, on the win. You obviously are a strong wrestler, but you did show other facets to your game tonight. Was that part of the plan, or were you surprised that, maybe RDA resisted a little bit and you had to switch things up a little bit? Because you did show more than just your wrestling.
Yeah, I wanted to come and show that I'm the most well-rounded fighter on the planet, and that's what I did tonight. I can now strike anybody. My pace alone is unstoppable. No one can keep with my pace, and Tyron Woodley's felt that in the gym. He knows it. He's tired at home. He's probably still out of breath.
With that matchup being next, I mean, how do you see that fight going down? How do you see yourself matching up with Tyron?
It's an easy matchup for me, man. I've trained hundreds and hundreds of rounds sparring at American Top Team with me, so I know how he fights. He's real predictable. All he has is a right hand. He's got no gas tank. He backs up and fights. People are scared of his power. I'm not scared of his power. I'll go right into his power. I'll get him in the clinch. I'll do whatever I want with him. I'll finish him inside 3 rounds. Mark my words.
I know there was a little bit of awkwardness with some of the Brazilian teammates at American Top Team. How do you think they're going to react with, you and Tyron? I know Tyron doesn't really train at the Coconut Creek Gym, but, he still represents ATT.
Yeah, he doesn't really train at ATT Coconut Creek. He has his little ATT affiliate in St. Louis. He's training at Duke Rufus. That's where he does his camps now. He's just trying to stay cool with Dan Lambert. Dan's the man, so of course he doesn't want to burn that bridge. But, I think the Brazilian teammates, I think they're going to be the same way they were. They don't want to train with me because all the favela masters in Brazil want them dead. And if they see that they're training with me, that's not going to be a good look for them. So, it's no hard feelings. We have nothing but love around the gym at ATT. It's just business now.
And, obviously Tyron's the next guy on the list, but, you've never shied away from, calling other fights, asking for other fighters. One guy who's out there at welterweight, or hopefully at welterweight again one day, is George St. Pierre. And I heard that's a fight you might be interested in at some point.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in GSP, that Serb-sucking Canadian. I'll bury him right where he stands.
Colby, congratulations, right here. Congratulations on the victory. Were you surprised that there was some Colby chants going on this evening?
No, not surprised at all. I think these people now finally get what I'm doing, and I'm putting on entertaining shows for the fans. And I think I'm probably going to turn to a baby face for my next fight because nobody likes Tyron Woodley. That guy's too busy gossiping about the Kardashians. He's in Hollywood on his little TMZ stint. So I think people are going to really embrace me, as making this division great again like I am.
Thank you.
Actually, speaking of that, and congrats, Colby.
Thanks.
Looking at the replies on Tyron's 2 tweets about you, overwhelmingly positive in his favor. And so I wonder if you feel like you're almost doing him a favor here because, for his last few fights, the fans have been kind of against him, but they're all saying, shut him up, beat him up, things like that.
Yeah, he could try. The same thing went for RDA tonight. They all said, hey, shut him up. But now he's most wanted man in the world right now. Everybody hates him, so everybody hates me. So now that he lost to me, he's not going to be able to show his face in Brazil anymore. So, Tyron Woodley, same thing. Everybody, the same thing's going to happen to him, the same fate, and they're going to turn on him after I beat him.
Does this really feel to you like you're the champion? Like, is this the feeling that you dreamed of when you dreamed of becoming a champion, or do you feel like you'll only feel that way once you beat him?
This is the undisputed strap. He had a chance to fight me last December. He was good to fight Nate Diaz. He was good to fight GSP, but, he couldn't get his money fight, and all of a sudden he needs preventative shoulder surgery that he waited 8 months to get after Damian Maia. So this is the real strap. He has the paper strap. Now he knows I'm the money fight. I built that fight, and no one wants to see him. They want to see me.
And just one more thing. You've seemed to have drawn the ire of your former roommate, John Jones. He was tweeting a lot about you, and I'm wondering if you had any response to some of the things he was saying.
No comment on John Jones. He is who he is.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, he's done what he's done for himself. I have nothing further to say. This is the real belt, so, I don't have anything to say about him.
Thanks.
Colby over here. You talking about the potential fight with Tyron Woodley. You mentioned some of the teammates who weren't very happy with you. Is there any concern preparing for Tyron that maybe some disgruntled teammates who have ties to Tyron Woodley, there may be some type of relay of information?
No, I'm going to definitely, Dan Lambert will make sure that, we get private training. We're not going to do it when everybody's watching. I got great training partners, Dustin Poirier, Jorge Masvidal, my best friend. He's the best look for Tyron Woodley. So, we'll do private training on certain times when no one's in the gym, so it won't be a problem. American Top Team's so big. Dan Lambert built a mecca of unbelievable gym out there, so there's tons of space, unlimited space. So I'm not worried about them.
And speaking of Dan Lambert, before you came over to the media table and called us all nerds, you had a great embrace with him when you left the cage. Can you just describe to us what it means to bring that belt back to Dan and to American Top Team?
It's everything that I told him the day I got to American Top Team. I was born and raised in American Top Team. I left college. He gave me an opportunity to come down to American Top Team, and he's taken me in like a son, and I can't thank Dan enough. To do this from the ground up. There's not many fighters that do that. Most of the fighters they train and then they come to other big gyms. I started American Top Team. I was born and raised there. So it was an unbelievable moment to see my agent Dan Lambert and the owner of our gym, American Top Team, and I'm proud that I could bring this belt and put it in the mantle right in the front of American Top Team.
Thanks, Colby.
Hi, I understand your fervent support of Trump and of the anthem, but are you aware that none of the Eagles ever kneeled?
I'm not aware of that, but what did they do? Didn't they not come out for the national anthem? They stayed in the tunnel or something?
No, that hasn't gone into effect yet. The most is one of the players raised his fist and one of his white teammates put his hand on his shoulder.
Well, I am aware that they, turned down their invitation to go see Trump, and that's a big slap in the face to America. I mean, there's all the brave men and women of America that put their lives on the line so they could have their freedoms to eat out of their silver spoons. They've been, the NFL players get so much leeway and so much money for, such a joke. So, it's a joke that they turned down America. They wouldn't have their freedoms. Try going to Puerto Rico. Let's see how well they would do over there if they would make that kind of money. So, it's a big slap in the face and disrespectful to America to turn down Trump's invitation.
Well, understand that you know, what they're saying is they're doing it for social justice, for minorities to be treated equally. And what do you say on that front? Because a lot of times people don't raise this issue with other athletes that take issue with it.
Last time I checked, they weren't paid all that money to be political people. They were paid to play football. So I gotta say, if I see them in the streets, I'm probably gonna slap them.
Okay.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you.